postures. You should know this by now. So when you're ready, ladies, we're going to come with our feet just underneath our hips and just soften and relax through your knees and let your hands just hang by your thighs. And then let's just start with a few breaths, a nice big breath all up the length of your spine, and then breathe out to allow your shoulders to relax down. And again, breath all over the spine, so you're lengthening through the neck to the top of the head, and then breathing out, just allowing your shoulders to relax. So from here, we just bring a little bit of connection to our shoulder blades. So you're gently drawing them together, but it's not a military posture where you're pushing your chest forward. You're going to keep the rib cage still and just bring that connection into the mid-back. Now we're going to keep our ribs still and just loosen our lower back with our pelvic tilts. And we use our breath. As we breathe in, the lower back just arches. And you're always using your out breath to tuck under with the bottom. Now don't worry too much about the breath for now. That'll kind of layer in easier as we go along with other exercises. So you want to try and breathe in through your nose if you can, and then breathe out through the mouth as you tuck under with the bottom. And as you're moving through your lower back, you're trying to maintain this nice length through your upper back and stillness through your upper back. Okay, from here, we're going to keep our tuck. So it's just a gentle tuck under, and your belly button softly drawn away from the t-shirt, not to the point where you can't hold it in any longer, but just the way you have that connection here. And just breathe in, take a little lift of the shoulders, and as you breathe out, you're going to draw them back and down. Now when you lift your shoulders, you're trying not to let the ribs lift. So you're trying to keep the rib cage still. Sometimes if you are a little tight around your shoulders, when you lift the shoulders, you'll feel like your spine, your ribs and your back want to move. So you're trying to maintain a little tuck. Even if the circles are only small, that's fine. We're going to focus on pulling the shoulder blades down into the back of the ribs. And that's where we're connecting to our stabilising muscles. And we just take a nice stretch across the upper tracts, the one that holds all the tension. Keeping the chin tucked in so your eye gaze is forward, and then you're going to hold the shoulders back and down. Keeping our set position, we're going to simply sway. So your feet stay flat. Just let your body weight come to the balls of your feet, tailbone still under, and then let your weight shift back into your heels. And all you're trying to do is sway as far as you comfortably can without allowing your back to round, or without allowing your ribs to flare. So while you're maintaining your tuck and softness through your knees, that should keep your core muscles switched on. Then we're going to add a double arm float. So your shoulder blades stay drawn down, arms float to shoulder level, and then back down to the thighs. And again, you're going to breathe out now as you sway forward. You're going to breathe in, let your weight come into your heels, hands just behind the hips, and breathing out through the mouth with your lift. Just be aware that as you're letting the arms float up, the shoulder blades aren't rising up towards the ears. Then we're going to add a little heel raise if you're ready. You can let both heels just simply peel off the floor, and as you sway back, your toes lift and weight into the heels more. The out breath as you come forward, and the in breath as you ease back. Out through the mouth on your lift, and in through the nose as you lower. Let's have two more here. So doing the sways is a really nice exercise. At first, just get into that right mindset and just give you awareness of the muscles that you're using to create that stability through your body. From here, we stay in our set position, keeping your neutral spine. We're going to just ease into our side bends to bring a little bit of movement through the back. Now the ear comes towards the shoulder. Your chin stays slightly nodded in. And when you come into the centre, you're lengthening right up through the crown of your head. And as I get warmer, my hair's getting curlier this morning. If you can, just slide your hand a little deeper. But I want to bring your awareness to your feet. As you're swaying from side to side, you're trying to keep the weight evenly placed through both feet. Now if you want to take this movement a little deeper and it feels okay, your hands come to your head, your shoulder blades are still drawn down, and you can almost imagine that you're stood between two panes of glass. So you've got to move directly from side to side. And that just stops you rolling forward, because you don't want to come to the side and flex forward. We're trying to keep the spine really long, and it might be a much smaller movement, but again, we're keeping the movement where it should be. Your tailbone is still tucked under very gently, and your belly button easing back towards the spine. And you're breathing in as you lower, and you're breathing out with your lift. In through your nose, and then out through your mouth. Once more on each side. And then we're going to rest in the centre, and you're going to bring your hands just down to your thighs and release the shoulders. Let's move into our tandem stance and bring our right foot. Now, you can step your right foot to the side so you've got a little bit of space between your feet, which makes your balance easier. Or you can place your foot directly in front of the other foot so your big toe touches your heel and all 10 toes are pointed forwards. Again, we want to be neutral, so your tailbone's gently tucked and the knees are relaxed. Weight even through both feet, and you're going to float arms to shoulder height and keep the ribs gently connected to your hips. We're going to start to scissor the arms, so you're going to let one arm lift and one arm lower. You're going to try and keep the arms nice and long, and you don't want your shoulders to come forward of your ears, so you're not rounding into the chest. You're keeping your chest open, really open across your collarbones. And then you're feeling your shoulder blades again gently connecting towards the spine, and that's going to help to maintain that stillness through your upper back. Chin still tucked in with your eye gaze forward, and that constant lengthening feeling through the back of your neck. So you're pulling it to the crown of your head. Okay, let's do one more arm there on each side. And then we're going to rest in the middle, both arms in line with your shoulders, and just change feet. So you're going to bring your left foot in front of your right, or a little bit wider. Find your neutral, draw the abdominals in so you've got a nice connection into your core, and draw the shoulders down. And again, just scissor the arms. Now, as you're scissoring your arms, and if you want to try and challenge your balance more, you might want to try close your eyes. You might not want to close your eyes, that's fine too. Try and get your fingertips pointed to the ceiling without bending into your elbow. And without letting the shoulder roll into the ear. So you still get your shoulder blades pulled down to the back of the ribs, leg tissue. And again, we're just going to do that once more on each side. And again, doing these nice simple exercises to begin with just starts to switch on those deeper muscles that give us our balance and our stability. Float both hands down. Take your feet just outside your hips. We're going to start with a hip hinge and then progress into squats. Now for the hip hinge, we're going to come into our set posture. Knees are soft and weights even in both feet. You're going to tip forward and push your hips back behind your heels, drawing the belly towards your spine. And then you're going to squeeze your bottom and press the hips back under the shoulders. Now as you come forward, you don't want to round your back to tip forwards. Imagine you've got a pole stuck at the back of your t-shirt and it's keeping your back really long, really strong. And then pause and just press down through the heels to lift. So all we're focused on first of all is trying to keep a long neutral spine and feel the hips move back to create this position. And then hips come forward and back under the hips, under the shoulders. Breathing in through your nose and then breathing out through the mouth. From there, once we hinge forward this time, we're then going to bend into the knees, hands slide just by your thighs, and then you're going to push through both heels and hips back under shoulders. Again, we're breathing in through our nose, knees over your toes, and then breathing out through the mouth. Now, if you get to a certain point where you feel your back's really having to arch and you're lowering your chest more than your hips, don't go as far. Work on maintaining a tuck. And when you shift your weight back, you're trying not to let the back arch. So you go as far as you comfortably can while keeping a neutral spine. And then you push down into both heels evenly and you're squeezing the bottom to get the hips back under the shoulders. Chest again still open. Chin still nodded in. So you're not trying to look up at your screen as you come forward and having your neck in this position. You want the length in the neck the whole way through. Then we're going to add single arm floats. So as you come to the bottom this time, making sure the shoulders stay down, you're just going to float one arm to shoulder height, down to the thigh, then the other arm, down to the thigh, and press through the heels and lengthen. Breathing in, out with the lift, into lower, Out with the mouth, in through your nose, and then breathing out with a lift again. Always feeling the hips are moving back. Connection to your belly, just almost drawing away from your t-shirt. And then a big squeeze into the bottom. We're just going to do 2 more here. So you should start to feel a little bit of work into your thighs, as well as your core, as you're holding this really strong position to your upper body. Your last one. Then we're going to perfect our lunges, but with our lunges, we're going to use them for a nice stretch through the hip flexors. Push through both heels. Give your legs a little shake. Right, in a lunge position, we're going to stay in a split lunge. So it doesn't have to be a too long step. You can take a kind of medium-sized step back with your leg foot. Your right foot's back. Now the first thing you want to check is the front knee is over the heel and not collapse inwards. So you almost want to corkscrew your heel into the ground, so as you press the knee out to the little toe, your heel stays grounded and you feel the outer thigh muscles switched on. And thankfully I've got a low ceiling so I can hold on for dear life. You're going to tuck under your tailbone again, so your hips are forward. You've got that nice set position. And we're just going to sink our back knee down to the floor wherever we can keep our body upright. And then you're going to push down through this front heel and rise back up. Again, just check the knee doesn't collapse inwards. Tailbone staying tucked and stretching here. And then pushing out of here to rise back up. Now the breath in as you lower. And then out with your lift. Initiating the movement with your back knee bending, front knee staying where it is. And then adding the arms. So we're going to come to shoulder height. And if it feels comfortable, you're going to reach the arms a little higher to stretch the hip more. Back in line with the shoulders, and then push up through the front heel. The breath in. If you lift the arms, you're going to breathe out. Breath into shoulder height, and then breathing out to rise. Let's have 4 more here. See if you're able to bring your back knee a little bit lower, but making sure you keep your tailbone tucked under to keep neutral spine. And our last 2. Breathing in through your nose. Big out breath, because as you use your out breath, as you lift the arms higher, that's going to help to engage your core and keep that stability through your body and not let the ribs flare. And then you're going to lower the arms and step forward or backwards. Give the leg a little shake. And now let's change over feet. Okay, so as we change over feet, we're going to make sure the feet again hip distance. If you're too narrow, you're going to struggle with the balance and feel like you're lunging on a tightrope. That's level 2. Hands on your hips, turn your hips to the front. Think about where your headlights are. Are they facing to the ground or are they facing directly forward? So you've got your tuck under again. Shoulders are rolling back. Just ease into the back knee, trying to keep the pelvis level and the knee gently pressed away to your little toe. Lead with the back knee to the floor. Push out your front heel. Breathing in through the nose, chin tucked in, chest really open, and then breathing out as you rise. Adding the arm floats to shoulder height. Or, once you're down, you've found your stretch, and you want to gently increase the stretch, let the arms come a little higher. And as you're lifting your arms higher, you're trying to make sure you're not arching into your back, so you don't want to feel like the ribs pop forward. So you might find that when you lift your arms higher, you might just get to here. As you go to there, you may feel the ribs pop in the back arches. So you don't want to go there. You just want to focus on keeping that spine really long, really upright. And pushing through that front heel. So you work into your glutes as you rise. Now again, we're going to do another 4. I'm going to make sure you get that stretch each time. So if you start to let the hips tilt forward, if your muscles are fatiguing, retuck under at the bottom. Again, it's just nice, slow, controlled movements. We've got a chance to let all those stability muscles do their work. Just watch the knees not rolling in. Keep gently pressing outwards. Perfect. And one more. And then rise. Step your feet together when you're ready. Okay, we're going to come back to a little bit of balance, and from here we're going to step our right leg back. No, in fact, no, step your left leg back. Give your right leg a little rest. So you're going to step your left leg back, and it's a really long straight leg, and you're going to slightly hinge forward. So again, when you're here, if you can glance sideways on, your ear, your shoulder, your hip, knee and ankle are in a straight line. Front knee still pressing out the little toe, and you've got lots of space here, and your ribs aren't flared. You're going to let the hands just hang, chin tucked in, and you're just going to lift your right arm in line with your shoulder, and then back to your thigh. Then your left arm. Now you're going to stop in the middle and relax your toes. Let your weight sit into your heels, so try not to grip with the toes. Then lift the arm again. Maybe just before you lift the arm, press the heel down a little bit more. And now we're going to add the turn of the head. If you want to, let your eye gaze follow your hand, and then back into the middle. Breathing out as you turn, and a breath in to release. Nice and strong through that back leg. So you're constantly squeezing this thigh, and a little squeeze at the bottom to keep the hips still. Still not gripping with your toes, hopefully. And as you keep pressing through the heel, you'll feel how that engages your glute muscles, and that's where we get our stability from. Once more, to your right. And then you can step forward. Oh. And we feel the muscles working. Now the other leg. So again, not too narrow, hip width apart. Strong back leg, hinge forward from your hips. Knee over heel, and knee pressing out to little toe. Don't let the shoulders drop forward, connect the shoulders. Breathe in to prepare. Whenever you're ready, breathe out to lift. And a breath in to release. You're trying to keep the trunk of the body nice and still. Toes still relaxed, which is easier said than done. And again, you can think about pressing the heel down just before you lift. Adding the head rotation if it feels right for you. Breathing out through the mouth on the way up, in through the nose on the way down. So every time you breathe out through your mouth, again, that's going to engage and switch on your core muscles even more. Nice and strong with the back leg. Don't let the back knee bend. We're going to do one more each side. And then the good news is we're going to focus on some lying down work. When you have finished your last one, step forward and shake your legs. Right, we're going to come down to the floor when you're ready. We're going to work with clams to begin with, so we can get some more work with the outer thighs and the hips. Just make sure you can all see me clearly. Let's give that a little tilt, and that a little tilt, and all good. So in our sideline position, we're going to focus on the clams and think about, again, the position and the stillness of our hips. So as we lie down on the floor, ideally, you want your arm extended. You want your head to rest. If that isn't possible and it's uncomfortable around your shoulder, arm can come forward and have a cushion or a block here. Now we're going to bring the knees forward, so the knees are pointing towards your screen and your heels are just behind your hips. You will feel your hip naturally collapses up to your rib, so your spine's almost sagging in the middle, so we need to get rid of that. So if you place your hand on your hip, push the hip away from the rib, so you're lengthening here, and you should also feel that very slightly lifts your bottom rib away from the floor. Now the ribs are softened down towards your hips, but you're not rounding through the shoulders. Your chest is open, your shoulders are back. Now you've got the perfect position, you can take a nice big breath in. You're going to breathe out when you're ready to open the knee. And you're going to breathe in as you ease it back down. Now the first thing we're looking for is keeping the pelvis still. So when you open your knee, you don't want to feel like your hip rolls back. You can imagine you've got a headlight there and it's firmly fixed forward. And you're just making sure your headlight's not turning up to the ceiling as you open the knees. You're going to breathe out through your mouth each time you open the knee, and you're getting that connection into your core as you breathe out. So it's out through your mouth and then in through your nose. Awareness of the space you have here, so you're not let that hip collapse back up to the rib, just lengthening. And again, you'll probably feel that you can't quite lift the knee as high when you've got the length here. When it drops, you'll feel the knee will lift a lot higher because it's putting the pelvis in a different position. So we need to keep the pelvis nice and still. Now just think about your ribs. When you open your knee, are your ribs pushing forward? Because if they are, then you're arching into your lower back as well. So you want to feel like you're using your upper abdominals to almost pin the ribs down. You're keeping your tailbone ever so slightly tucked under. Are you all right there? And then breathing out through the mouth. Is it frozen? Why is it frozen? Oh, right, hang on. Don't know why it's done that. Has it come back on yet? Am I back with you? Have you frozen, Rosa? Am I back, Yvonne? Oh. Right, okay. Sometimes I have to do this, my internet or if it's other people's internet, sometimes it just signals get a little bit weaker there. Is that alright? Perfect, we'll carry on climbing. So again, breathe out as you open the knee, keeping the knees stacked and keeping the ribs and the hips just gently drawn towards each other. Now we're going to do 2 more of just the clams. Slow breath in as the knees lower down. And a nice strong out breath with the lift. Then we're going to have a little rest. We're going to reach up the bottom and then we're going to add in a leg extension. So we're going to open the knee again when you're ready. Your start position is here. You're going to keep your thighs parallel and all I want you to do is extend your leg out so your knees are still stacked. Bring your toes together, then lower your knees down. So again, breathe out to lift. Breath in and then close. So still incorporating that clam connection to your glutes as you lift the knee. So when again you open the knee, we've switched on the outer thigh muscles, they create stability, and then we can extend the leg forward by squeezing the front of the thigh. So you've got those 2 moves together. We're just going to do 2 more if we can. And then you should feel a lot more work coming around this hip area. And if that feels too much, just stay with the first clam. And then you're going to rest both knees down. You might want to have a little rub around that outer thigh. Okay, we're going to do that on the other side when you're ready. So we're just going to gently roll over to the opposite side. Just swap my earpieces over. I'm dreading Steve getting his electric bill. But so many things charging up and things. Mind you, at least it's been summer, we've not had the TV on as much. They might not notice. So again, the hips are stacked first, the knees forward. No, sorry, Steve's electric bill, not mine. Head rested, shoulders relaxed and chest again open. Connect the ribs just gently towards the hips and push the hip away from the rib. Now breathe in when you're ready and breathe out as the knees open. And again, it's a really subtle movement, thinking about keeping neutral all the way through. You can take your focus to your hip bones, or you can imagine you've got a glass of water balanced here right on your hip and it's full to the brim and you're trying to keep it as still as possible as you open the knee. And if you can't imagine you've got a glass of water balanced here, just go get a glass of water and put it there. It'll certainly make your hips stay still. Gently drawing the tummy button in. And you've always got the edge of the feet together so the bottom foot doesn't lift. You're just really focusing on almost squeezing through the bottom to let the knee lift and then easing it down gently. Just aware you're not pushing forward with the ribs. And that bottom rib still slightly lifting away from the ground, as well as having all that lovely length here through your waist. then the leg extension. So you're going to hold at the top, you're going to squeeze the thigh to extend the leg, your toes come together and your knees gently close. So we're moving as slowly as we can to create as much control as we can. If we start going fast, you'll feel the knee flings, the leg extends and the hips start to rock. So imagine you're almost trying to move without somebody knowing that you're moving. And then use the breath. As you extend your leg, keep breathing out. That's going to really connect those tummy muscles to give you more support when you extend the leg. Okay, we've just got 4 left to do. And you're probably still feeling a little bit of work on the underneath leg as that leg's working to keep the stability as you move this top leg. That's why it hurts more on the second leg, because this side's been working to stabilise while we did the movement with the other leg last time. And then your toes come together, your knees close, and you might want to rub again. From there, we're going to roll onto our back. So in your own time, when you're ready, we're just going to roll onto the back and we're going to do some knee drops, and we're just going to work with our right leg first. When we do knee drops, we're looking at mobility through one hip socket and stability through the other. So if we just make sure the feet are in line with our hip bones, your peace fingers just rest on your hip bones, and just make your pelvis level. So now just rock from side to side and settle midway. You've got a connection of the ribs to the hips, but you're not letting your shoulders round off the floor. So we're going to draw the shoulder blades back, down to the rib cage, and then nod the chin in. Now everything from your pelvis and above, we're going to keep still. We're going to keep our left leg still, and we're just going to roll onto the edge of the right foot as the knee comes out to the side. Your headlight's always pointing up to the ceiling, so you don't want to feel like your pelvis is rolled to the side as well. Now a good way to think about this is your left buttock, imagine you've got some blue tack underneath it, and you're going to push your buttock down to the blue tack, and you're going to hold your right buttock on the blue tack as you lower your left knee. Breathing in as you ease it down. Now breathe out as you bring the knee back in. And again, sometimes if a little tight through the hips, you may feel that as your knee rolls down, your ribs flare to help it go further. So we're thinking about the connection, that distance between the ribs and hips, and we're trying to make sure that that doesn't change as you lower your knee down. So many things to think about. Right buttock still pressed onto your blue tack. You're breathing in as you lower the knee, and then you're breathing out to bring it back into the centre. So again, we've got all that stability. All the movement comes through that ball and socket joint through the hip bone. Breathe out, squeeze back into the middle. Try and just make sure the head hasn't tilted back, so you still want to keep the length into the neck and the chin nodded in. And now you can imagine your glass of water is full to the brim and balanced on your left knee. Or your right knee, I forgot which way we're doing it round, because I keep changing sides and I get muddled up. So the knee that's staying still, your glass of water is balanced on that one pretty much. And let's do 2 more on this side. So again, we should feel our core muscles working quite hard to keep everything still. Last one here, and then we're going to change over legs. So as your knee comes in, you're going to squash your bottom down to the blue tack. So it should be your, I think your right hip bone, hip now squash to the blue tack, and your left knee comes out to the side. Slow breath into lower. Pause. Now breathe out through your mouth and keep breathing out till you come back into the centre. Now you might want to try and put your hands on your ribs and see that as you lower your knee, you're not letting the ribs move or flare. You're just rolling onto the edge of the foot, and then you're breathing out through the mouth to bring the knee back in line with the hip. Seeing how still the opposite leg stays. And you can only keep that knee still by pressing the bottom down. And as you press the bottom down, that's making you work your deeper core muscles to keep the pelvis still as we resist the weight of the leg moving away. Ease the breath in through the nose. Then breathe out through the mouth. And again, slow breath in as it eases down. Pause at the bottom. And the out breath on the lift. Let's just do one more. And now we've created lots of stability to do our pelvis, we're going to come into knee lifts and create some more work for our lower abdominals. So you might just want to give your pelvis a little rock forward and backwards, just to release any pain, any aches through the lower back. Then we're going to settle midway between those 2 points. I'm going to make sure the feet aren't too close. We've got a nice big 90-degree angle at the knee joints. Let's bring the hands back on the hips. Now I want you to imagine your right foot is resting on an eggshell. Without crushing your eggshell, you're going to lift your left knee just above the hip, so it's at 90 degrees. And then you're going to place your left foot down on an eggshell. Keep it on the eggshell and lift the right knee. So your landing of the foot is extremely light. And you're not pushing through the foot on the floor as you lift the opposite leg to stabilise your hips. That should then start to come from your tummy muscles even more. And those eggshells make it quite hard. Now just check the head isn't tilted back, so you want to keep the chin nodded in. Start to breathe out as you lift and keep breathing out slowly till you get to the top, and then slow breath in as you ease it back down. If you're happy your hips are staying still, you can just let the hands rest on the floor at the side if that feels better. Breathe out through the mouth, keep drawing the tummy muscles in. And you're trying to make sure as well that when you lift the knee, you're not forcing your back into the ground. You should be in a neutral spine. And you should feel that as you lift your knee, there's no extra pressure pushing down to the floor through the back. Let's do that once more on each side. Then we're going to come to the arms and then we'll add them together once they've both been perfected. So you're going to simply this time leave both feet on eggshells. Don't push the feet into the ground, make them light. Find your neutral and bring your arms up. You're going to turn your palms in, and as you do, you're corkscrewing your shoulder blades into your spine. So again, we've switched on that stability area there. Now from here, keep the arms long. As you breathe in, you're just going to reach up one arm back over the head, and then you're going to breathe out and bring the arm back into the centre. As the arm comes back, you don't want to feel that your ribs flare or your back arches. So we're locking into our neutral position and holding it still. You're keeping the arm as straight as possible and only taking it as far back as you can without the ribs lifting. Again, just easing the breath in through the nose and then breathing out through your mouth. So thinking about the stability of the shoulders, shoulder blades are connected down to the back of the ribs. Feet are nice and light. And there's no movement through your rib cage. And we've got that connection of our belly button softly drawing down towards the spine. Right, staying in the centre. Your left arm reaches back and your right knee lifts. Breathing in. And then breathing out. So it's the opposite arm, opposite leg. And it's slow, and lots of control. Keep a neutral spine, so just making sure the back doesn't press into the floor. You're trying to hold that pelvis and spine as still as possible and resist the movement of the arms and the legs. And obviously not break your eggs. That might be one step too far. So try not to push the foot into the floor. Try to keep it as light. Sorry? It's in neutral, yeah. You're not in imprint, so you're not pressing the back into the floor. You've just got that little bit of space between your lower back and your mat. And that should kind of stay there as you move the arm and the leg. and then let's finish off with one more on each side. And you can feel how those slow, controlled movements really work everything so much harder. And then stop. Hugging your knees when you're ready. And just come into circles with the knees. So you're just going to circle the knees around the hips, just releasing again through the lower back. And then you can circle the knees the other way around when you're ready. And then rest into the middle. Hold on to your knees, tuck in your chin. And if you can from here, you can take a little roll up. If not, just come up the best way you comfortably can. So we're going to do a few more exercises for the spine to increase the mobility through the back. Now, when you come up into the centre, ideally you want to start with your shoulders above your hips, but sometimes if your hamstrings are tight, you'll feel the pelvis tilting back and the lower back arching. So again, you can sit on a cushion or on a block, and that should help put the spine in a better position. We're just going to rest the hands on the shins, and we're going to imagine our body is an eye. The head is a dot, your spine is a stick. Now we want to keep it, we're going to come into a J, we want to keep that really long straightness through the upper back. Long straightness, that would make sense, but we know what I kind of mean. So we're going to keep the length through the upper back, and you're just going to tuck your tailbone under, and then you come back up onto your sit bones. So it's almost like your pelvic tilts, where you're just tilting your pelvis back, and then back up onto your sit bones. And this is so lovely for the lower back. It just gives you such a deep stretch in that lower back area. If you are, you're kind of tucking it under, so the lower back almost lengthens. So now we've got that curve in our lower back, and we're almost just opening the lower back up. Sometimes, if we're a little bit more round through the upper back, we'll tend to kind of drop into the back. So it's trying to keep the upper back still, and just feeling the movement in the lower back. You're almost just rocking back on your pelvis. And then we're just going to do a couple more, feeling the stretch into the lower back. So good for the back is this. And one more. Then we're going to go a little further into that. We're going to go into our J, and then we're going to allow the curve to come slowly through the rest of the spine. And then bring your chest forward and up onto your sit bones. So again, with the tailbone under, feel the stretch in the lower back, then come into the mid back, and then just simply roll forward and re-step up your spine. And again, let your breath just flow in through your nose, and then breathe out when you're ready to rise. Under with the bottom first, so you always want to feel that stretch into the lower back. And this helps with a lot of the movements we do in other classes, with crunches, with roll downs. It just gets a bit of freedom through the back. And once that lower back's a little bit easier, it just takes tension out of everywhere else. Come forward, lengthen, and once more. And then we're going to slump in style. You're just going to let your hands come forward. Let your hands rest towards your feet, tuck in your chin. And let your shoulders separate, let them melt away from each other. Take a nice big breath in and breathe out. Just try and sink a little further into it if you want to. Keep gently tucking under with the bottom, so we're still getting that release and stretch in the lower back. And then we're going to rise up when we're ready. Just re-stepping each vertebrae and rolling back and down the shoulders. Okay, from here, we're just going to bring our right leg out in front. We're going to bring our left foot over our right. Just check I've got left and right right. You're going to super glue your bum to the floor, or blue tack. And you're going to take your right arm and wrap it around your knee. You're going to gently hug the knee in towards your shoulder, but don't round the shoulder forward to get there. You want to keep that shoulder held back and the head pulled up to the ceiling, and turn through the centre of your chest. Now you can use the hand that's on the floor just behind your bottom. You can press it down to the floor and try and grow a little bit taller. And if it feels good, you can just turn the head and have a glance back over the shoulder. And keep breathing while you're there as well. And then when you're ready, just come back into the centre. So you should feel even when you're doing those really easy Pilates exercises, the simple ones, they're very effective. If you do them correctly and you've got that control, whether you're working at an advanced level or an easy level, you should feel them work quite hard at the same time. So you're going to hug your left arm around your knee and gently draw it in. You're going to roll the shoulders back and lift the chest. And again, you can have a little turn and look over the shoulder. Try and breathe in, and then see if you can use your out breath to turn a little further whenever you're ready. And then from here, in your own time, just come back into the middle. We're going to take our legs behind and come into our box position. And next Monday, we'll focus on doing some of the all four works and the shoulder stability side of things as well. We're going to bring our knees under our hips here. We're going to lengthen through the top of the head and to the tailbone. And we're going to draw the belly up in your own time. So again, just creating that rounding through the back. And then lower your belly down to the floor and let your bottom lift. Coming into the middle. Start with the tailbone, just stretch against the lower back, just like we did those J's. And then come through into your C. And then reverse, just allowing your chest to gently push forwards. Let your eye gaze lift. Back into the centre, under with the bottom, then into the mid-back and rounding through the upper back. Midway between those 2 points and tuck under your toes. From here, you can take a little lift of the hips. You're going to straighten your legs. Bend the knees when you're ready and step forward. So your feet come right underneath the hips. Elbows can come onto your thighs for a little bit of support. Or here you can just allow your head to hang. Belly lifting high. And in your own time, make sure you bend the knees first and then restack your spine. You can either just roll up or you can use your hands to help you walk back up into set position. And as you roll back into set position, I'll just pop my head back on. And in centre, you bring the shoulders back above the hips. You're rolling them back and down. And from here, just let the elbows lift again. Just open the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Don't let the ribs flare, not yet. And give it 2 more nice big circles. And then you're free to enjoy the rest of your day. And thoroughly stretched out. Well done, ladies.